Ita for considering postponing my wedding after I saw how my fiancé talks about me in his group chat. Hi everyone. I hope you guys can give me some insight and help with this situation. Me, 24F, and my STBH, 24M, have been together since we were both 17. He was my first everything. First boyfriend, first kiss, he took my virginity. Literally my first for everything. He proposed after I graduated nursing school, and I've never been happier. I know everyone says this, but there's literally been 0 problems and 0 red flag. I wanted to play this game he has on his iPad because I've become borderline addicted to it. As I was playing it, I saw a text from his group chat pop up. I ignored it. Then another came up with one of his friends saying, "I'd marry a BJQ." I got confused, so I decided to open it. This group chat is only men. Some are my childhood friends too. And we hang out with these people multiple times a week. My husband sent a pros and cons list about me. Copied it, sent it to me, deleted the evidence. Here's the list. Pros: sexually eager and blowjobs whenever I want. Big tits, big ass, big thighs, and a flat stomach. Doesn't let herself become frumpy and ugly. Funny and smart. Good cook and baker. Cons: has a lot of animals. Doesn't always keep our place clean. Laughs too loud. Vulgar and crude. Has bad breath in the mornings. Spends too much time at the gym. Is the list that bad? It made my stomach drop, and I've just felt this impending dread ever since discovering it. Cons aren't that bad, but it feels so objectifying with the pros list. And as I scrolled up and read more, the worse it got. He talked to them about how he thinks I lied about being a virgin when we met, 'cause I'm too eager in wanting to try too many things, and even bragged about how he has a folder on his phone of videos and photos of me and us. Everybody dared him to send it, but he said no. But how can I be sure he didn't send it anyways and deleted the evidence? He even talked about how there was a week he tested to see how many blowjobs he could get out of me by simply asking for them and decided to stop because he started to feel bad. There was more, but I can't write it out. I feel so gross and sad. I talk about him in a such different way. Feels like he only sees me as a sex object, and I see him as my other half. I've opted out of friend hangouts and have distanced myself from him. He's noticed and has been trying to find out what's wrong, but I'm not even ready to tell him. I want to postpone our wedding until we can figure this out, or if it's even salvageable. Am I overreacting? Please, any and all advice is welcome. Edit. The response has been overwhelming. I have never used Reddit before and opted to use my friend's account. And wow, I really wasn't expecting this. I appreciate all of your guys' advice and input. Truly, this means a lot. I'll try to update when I can, but again, thank you all. Update. I wanted to say thank you to everyone that gave me their advice and input, and also a thank you to my friend for letting me post on her Reddit account. I've never even used Reddit, so this whole experience has been wild. She suggested I use it due to her using it, and told me she got a lot of great legal advice as well as emotional support. So again, thank you all. Anyways, my STBX left for a work-related trip and won't be returning till the 7th. I decided to go through his iPad even more, and the things I found were absolutely appalling. I can't even believe I considered staying. You all opened my eyes, and what I found really solidified it. I searched the group chat more. They didn't talk about me a whole lot, but every time they did, it was so degrading and wildly inappropriate. I found out it was my SBX that coined me as BJQ. And I was right. He has sent videos of me. It was just videos of me performing oral, but still, I wanted those to stay between us. I also found his X and Reddit account. It's nothing but gangbang porn and cuck fetish porn. All the porn is one girl and multiple men. I don't want to read too much into that, but with how everything is falling, I'm scared he was going to try to share me with the men in this group chat. Which, yes, I am open-minded, but I am firm on no threesomes and no sharing of any sort. He knows this. I also found out he calls me Butterface. He constantly complains that I don't lean into my femininity and dress more girly. He said he hates my tattoos and piercings and said they're excessive. There's so much more, and I'm just devastated. I don't even know where to begin. I don't want to tell my family because I'm so humiliated and sad. Do I collect evidence from his iPad and take it to a lawyer? Do I start moving out while he's away? I'm just so lost right now. Thank you to everybody that helped open my eyes. Update 2. Hi everyone, I just wanted to give an update and also clear up a few things. A few people asked why I had to use my friend's account. I didn't want to make a Reddit account in case he had access to my email account. I wanted to remain completely anonymous making that post. My friend posted on Reddit previously and said she got a ton of emotional support and legal advice, which is what she said I needed. I'm very thankful she helped me make a post. Some messaged and said that this was clearly fetish content. I don't know how it would be, but I promise it's not. If I wanted to post fetish content, I'd just go to the side groups designated for that, lol. I'm sorry if I came off as too vulgar in the previous posts, but I was just trying to detail everything as best as possible. Anyways, on to the update. I was able to get moved out before he came home, but I barely made it. I finished moving everything out late at night on the 6th. I'm staying with Leslie until I'm able to find a new place. My family as well as his are aware of what's going on. I decided to text his mom everything. She never responded. My parents are floored. My dad helped me move majority of my things out and accidentally broke his PC tower, lol. I don't want to get too much into the legal stuff because I don't know what I can and can't discuss. What I will share is my lawyer is wanting to pursue charges and the police believe I have enough evidence. The officers and detective I'm working with have been extremely helpful and are going above and beyond for me. Before he came home on the 7th, I texted one of the guys' GFS and let her know what I found. Because even though I didn't find images or videos of the other guy's girlfriends, it's still better to be safe than sorry. She was amazing and we are still in touch. When he came home, everything went as expected. He was blowing up my phone. Texting, calling, emailing, everything. He showed up at the hospital. Thankfully, I wasn't working that day, but I heard it from one of the CNAs I work with. He's been demanding to know what's going on, that he's scared, etc. Then he started texting, asking where his iPad was. An hour later, he started cursing me out, asking if I've lost my mind, telling me I need to grow up and come talk to him. I'm assuming he's figured out I know. If I can figure out uploading images, I'll post the texts. Cops advised me to not block him, because he'll likely say something that can further my case. I'm safe, my family is aware, and so are all my friends. I have a great support system. I'm just so scared and exhausted. I'm sorry if this is jumbled and doesn't make sense. I'm still trying to piece together everything. If there's more, I will update. ETA. I appreciate the concern, but regarding the PC comment, I paid for it, and it was originally mine. He just took over it without asking, so he can't do anything about it. And he already knows I'm with Leslie. I can't disclose much, but once everything is settled and finalized, I can give a more in-detail update and provide more info. Probably won't be able to for a year or two depending. Thank you all. Edit, I'm noticing a huge influx of comments calling this fake, so I'm assuming my ex has found this and is sending his dick riders after me to try to make me look crazy. If that's the case, all your girlfriends know the behaviors you all participated in, and so do your employers. Not my doing. Have fun with that. Hope the vids and pics were worth it, you worthless creeps. Relevant comment. I'm so glad you're safe. You might want to talk to your boss supervisor at the hospital and let them know that he's a dangerous person and shouldn't be allowed in property. If he knows where you work, he could continue to harass you there. Up. My boss is now aware of the situation and he said he's going to take the appropriate measures to handle this. Thank you. Commenter. Good to hear this. It sounds like you have a solid support system, OP, and that is great. Your ex is toilet scum, but it is much better you found out before getting married and wasting more time on him. I hope he gets hit with the full force of the law for sharing your intimate images without your consent. His friends should also be in the hook for that, as none of them warned you about that. Even though some of them were your mates, hope they also get their comeuppance. Wishing you peace and healing. Another comment. Don't upload anything on the internet unless the police say you can. You don't want to have a lawsuit on you. Stay safe. Remember to bring pepper spray or anything to protect yourself while you're alone. He may go to your favorite places or your local hangout to stalk on you. If you're weak-minded and thinking of going back to him, You may want to follow that France news regarding the husband drugged his wife and let 72 males to ape while she was unconscious and videos the whole things. Another comment. I would love to see the texts, but please don't post them. Let your attorney rake him over the coals. Update me up. I should have clarified that I'll only post them when all is said and done, as my lawyer said after that he can't do anything to me. Thank you for the concern. Story 2. Aita, if I break up with my fiancée after she showed a startling change of behavior after getting engaged? I am 32, just recently proposed to my girlfriend of 2 years, Sharon, F30, like a month and a half ago, and it feels like the second the ring got on her finger, her attitude and behavior took a total 180. The entire time we were dating, we seemed exceptionally compatible, and at least it seemed we shared common beliefs and morals. 7 weeks ago, I proposed and she said yes, and I felt like it was the happiest moment for the two of us. But not even a week later, it's like her attitude totally flipped. I thought I knew all her friends, but one day I came home and there were 6 women I've never seen before, and Sharon introduced me to them. I was curious as to why I was just now meeting them, when I already met Sharon's 2 best friends, Michelle and Octavia, both not present, over a year and a half ago. Sharon said she wanted to make sure we were a sure thing before I met her inner circle. I found this strange, not to mention it was a weeknight, and they were quickly draining my wine rack of wine. Sharon still had her own place, but she stayed with me so often she practically lives her. Still, I found it incredibly rude when they left. 4 empty bottles of rosé in their wake. I tried to talk to Sharon about having uninvited guests on weeknights. She dismissed my grievance very flippantly. More that she brushed me off. The following weeks she went out with the girls several times, and when she brought the girls to my place, twice without notice, once with notice to appease me, her words, they all treated me like a butler, shaking their empty wine glasses at me for refills. After the 4th time, I made it clear that I will get a locked wine rack. Sharon just called me no fun after that. Gets worse. Sharon decided me and the girls got off on the wrong foot and said we should have dinner together at a nice restaurant. Well, I went, and it was not great. The 6 kept prodding me about my life, my house, my career, but deflected every question I asked. It got especially bad at night when they started talking about modern relationships and jealousy, and one of them brought up some key points about relationships that I thought Sharon and I were on the same page about. Specifically, what-ifs regarding polyamory and being friends with exes. To my shock, Sharon said we shouldn't be too hasty on such decisions, which was a total 180 to how she expressed herself on these things only a month prior, where she was vehemently against keeping ex-intimate partners in friends' circles and was staunchly monogamous. The worst part was when the bill arrived, Sharon announced it should be together and slid me the check. I told her she can't be serious, and we got into a bit of an argument. I ended it by putting my amount down in cash and walked out, leaving them to figure out the rest of the bill. The next days after that, Sharon kept calling me toxic and fragile. And every time I even pushed at it, she would give an apology and promised she was just stressed at work. It's nuts, we haven't even planned the wedding yet. The worst part was this Monday, when at work I got a Nest doorbell alert. Checked and saw Sharon and one of her 6 new friends arriving at my place, going in and exiting with my golf club. This set was a gift from my father, and it cost a pretty penny too, so Sharon lending it out without my permission got me pissed. I immediately called Sharon and told her and her friend to return the clubs. Sharon tried to gaslight me with, "But you promised to lend the clubs to her boyfriend, remember?" I told her clubs cost would move it into a serious crime, and her friend had an hour to return them, or the cops would be. Sharon kept insisted she got my permission. I told her to cut the crap. Well, not 45 minutes later, I got another notification of Sharon and her friend coming back with the clubs and going inside, leaving them, Sharon's friend flipping off the Nest doorbell on the way out. I got home and saw Sharon's friend literally just threw the clubs and back on the living room floor. Sharon tried to talk to me about my toxicity again, and I told her again to cut the crap. I said if I knew this was how she was, I would have never proposed. That seemed to freak her out, and she again insisted that she was stressed from work. But I wasn't buying it anymore. I told her to return the ring and her key. We would talk about our relationship this weekend. She cried and begged me not to cancel the engagement, and insisted that it was just stress. I told her again, we will talk about it this weekend. She finally relented. I had my house rekeyed anyways after she left, just to be safe. Sharon has been texting me constant messages of love and apologies for getting swept up, and insisted she was only wanting to show me off to her close friends. I don't know, I'm just not buying it. Same close friends have been sending me texts daily, calling me toxic and fragile again, saying they knew I wasn't man enough for Sharon or secure enough to share her with friends. A few of my friends that knew Sharon the entire 2 years we were dating were surprised and can't believe she turned hide this quick, and that there must be something missing, or that I am leaving something out. They say I must have said something to trigger her friends to act like this, and I had to have been the somewhere along the process. I dunno, it's a lot to take from all directions, right? Relevant comment. 2 years, and she didn't introduce you to these friends? She knows how terrible they are and how terrible she is with them. She put on quite a show to get the ring, and now that she thought she had you locked down, she can show her true colors. Unless you are leaving out something, you are definitely NTA. You are not toxic or fragile. You have standards. What she did at the restaurant and with the clubs is toxic. It seems like she wants to show them she has you wrapped around her finger, and that you will allow her and them to do whatever they want. I wouldn't give her another chance to use you for what you can do or give to her. No one that loves you would treat you like this. Friends or no friends present. Commenter couldn't have said it any better. I'm sorry this all happened to you, mate, but I'm glad that it happened before you actually married her and were really locked down/trapped. Sounds like you've got a level head on your shoulders and a good heart, OP. Godspeed, my guy. Another comment. NTA, you said you had met 2 of her friends, Michelle and Octavia, previously. Have they had anything to say about this flipped behavior or the 6 strangers that materialized? Commenter. NTA. Have Michelle and Octavia commented on the change or the 6 new strangers? Commenter. I bet he hasn't seen Octavia and Michelle anymore. They did their purpose, and now the ex is too stressed out from work to meet both of her friends. Up. I did message Michelle on Facebook last night. I asked her about the 6, and she told me that her, Octavia, and Sharon are cousins and grew up together. Michelle said that she didn't really care for the 6, but didn't say much else. Commenter. Oh fuck, no. Dude, you need to end this relationship. She has been putting on a false front the whole time. She knows how toxic they are. She figured now that you had proposed, you couldn't leave. This is who she really is. The person you dated for 2 years? That's a false front to get the proposal. It's like abusers who never hit their spouse until after they are married. They know they need to hide it because they know it will drive the partner away. They wait till the commitment is deep enough. She showed her hand too fast and too early. Kick her ass to the curb immediately. Call her out on every gaslight. Every time she cries and says she's stressed or whatever, ask her why she lies 100% of the time in front of her friends then. If she's telling the truth, they can come over, and in front of her friends, she will for a whole evening. Disagree with them on polygamy, open relationships, your role, they need to be open, etc., etc. Tell her if she's just stressed, she must be willing now to call them and openly admit all of what she was saying with them was untrue. Or, this is who she is. She gave you a pleasant fiction when you were alone, and it was easy to hide. Now you see who she chooses to be, who she wants to be. Dump her. Move on. Date Michelle, another comment. Tell her you're too stressed from work to talk about your relationship right now. It sounds like this is a toxic group of frenemies she has that constantly try to one-up each other. And I bet that this group of friends has been the end of all previous relationships, so she learned to keep them hidden. Commenter. I agree with this. Sounds like a group of girls who are in constant competition, or they use guys for whatever they want. Very toxic group. And I'm sure she's aware of it also, and that's why she waited to introduce, and they all tried to take advantage once he came around. Another comment. She wasn't smart enough to wait to flip the bait and switch until after the wedding. She thought as soon as you got engaged, she had crossed the finish line and started her victory lap. Her inner circle is clearly her bad decision support group too. The sooner you can dump her, the better for you. Commenter. Her inner circle is actually called her, I don't hang out with these friends while dating someone I like because we all make horrible decisions together. And I'll get caught cheating again because I'm not crafty enough to lie my way through it. Circle. SMH my head. Real friends would help her to figure out how to cheat before they got engaged, so she's not wasting time. My ex's friends could teach them a thing or two. Another comment. Enta, your friends are idiots and triggered? Nah, nobody normal comes to someone's house uninvited and drinks a ton of the person's wine without permission. That alone is a big no-no. But everything else on top of that? Nope. Sharon needed to be kicked out a long time ago. She and her friends were nothing but disrespectful towards you and your things, and just saw you as someone to use, period. And her behavior shows she did not care, as long as she could use you and have access to your things. The only reason she is giving fake apologies is because you leaving means she can't use you anymore. And the same goes for her leech-a-hole friends. Instead of apologizing and want to make it right, be reimbursing you. For the things they used, they are insulting you, and she isn't even telling them to stop. So you made the correct choice by not only kicking her out, but not going through with marrying her. Her and her friends are nothing but users who wasn't going to change at all and continue to do you. Story 3. Eta for asking my daughter what she expected would happen when she started a family across the country. I have 2 daughters, Emma, 28, and Lizzie, 25. Emma went to college across the country and upon graduating, got a job and stayed there. She's now married with a 2-year-old son. I did a lot of the mother of the bride stuff via FaceTime, as due to my work schedule and financials, I couldn't fly out there for everything. So, for example, I FaceTimed into the dress shopping. I did fly down 2 weeks prior to the wedding to help get everything ready. When Emma was pregnant, I kept talking to her friends, planning it, asking them to tell me when it was, so I could take enough time off work. Emma ended up changing the date, and there was no way I could afford to fly out on top of taking time off, especially to be there after the baby was born, as Emma wanted. So, once again, FaceTime to the rescue. I flew in and was there for her induction and stayed 2 weeks after. I have flown out to visit 4 times since. Emma has came to me 3 times. I do talk to Emma on the phone at least once a day. I FaceTime my grandbaby, etc. I am not physically present, but I want to be emotionally present as possible. Emma and I discuss everything, and she often says she's glad we still have a close relationship. Lizzie went to a state school and moved back to our town after graduating. Therefore, I was able to physically be there for all of the big wedding moments, along with her pregnancy. I was at her baby shower. As she now lives down the street, I see her, her husband, and their now 1-year-old daughter at least 4 to 5 days a week. I watch the baby so they can go on date nights. We are very close. Emma and her family flew out for Lizzie's daughter's birthday. I watched both kids so their parents could have separate date nights. I got to do more for my grandson, which I loved. I took him on outings, just us. I got to spend some one-on-one time with Emma too. I thought it was a really nice visit. However, after returning home, Emma didn't reach out nor respond to my attempts at contact for 2 weeks. When she finally did, I asked her if everything was all right. She said that being back in town made her realize just how much I do for Lizzie and her husband. She said that I am way more active, that I don't visit her enough, etc. I reminded her that I don't have the money nor the time off to fly out often. I wish more than anything I did. I miss her and my grandson. Emma told me that I clearly have a favorite grandchild and I should spend more time with him. I kept trying to find ways I could do more from a distance, but she kept rebuffing them and saying the only way to make it better would be to visit more. I finally asked what she expected to happen when she decided to start a family cross-country. I am so proud of her and all she's accomplished. I supported the move, but she also is aware of my situation. It'd be one thing to say, hey, it sucks we can't see each other more, But she can't move far away and expect everyone to come to her when they financially can't. Emma and I ended the call. I have since tried to talk to her, check on her mental health, etc. She refuses to talk about anything deeper than her day-to-day and the little one. She told her father, my ex, who lives closer to her. He called me to say that I was wrong to tell her this, and that I should have just let her keep laying into me. Ada? Relevant comment. NTA. Your daughter put herself in this position. That's on her, not you. You spoiled her baby while she visited you, so that tells me if you lived near her, you would do the same thing. She should have stayed near you if she wanted that. Commenter. I grew up 9,000 miles from my grandmothers. They were obviously far more present in the lives of my cousins who lived in the same country. I didn't resent them for not attending my school events or whatnot. What the fuck? Shit. Back then it was a big deal to speak to them on the phone. International long distance was freaking expensive, reserved for special occasions. People got emotional just hearing a voice they hadn't heard for months, emphasizing the tyranny of distance. Most communication was by aerogram. Look it up, kids. When I was in elementary school, we didn't even have international direct dial. We had to use an operator, with satellite delay messing with the conversation. Videophone? That was something out of Star Trek, a pipe dream. And walk to school uphill in the snow both ways. Yeah, that too. The daughter is delusional, and so is the ex, who said mom should let daughter keep beating up OP about it. It's no one's fault, so it's wrong for daughter to use OP as a punching bag over this. Another comment. Tell your ex that, unless he's offering to help you financially to be there more, he needs to shut his mouth and stay out of it. Commenter. Also, why isn't the ex spoiling and being so there for his daughter and grandchild that Emma is comforted knowing each sister has a supportive parent? Almost like he has done the bare minimum and mum gets the blame for not compensating his laziness. Another comment. NTA. And why should you just have accepted her laying into you? She was being irrational and unfair. And you made that clear. She's probably simultaneously still irrationally upset but now also embarrassed about it. Another comment. She wants you to visit her often, then she needs to start buying your plane tickets. She moved across country and expects you to fly out often. Is wild. Plane tickets aren't cheap, especially in this economy. Now, nothing is cheap. NTA. Commenter. It's not really that simple. OP has a job. Not everyone works remote, that they can fly across the country and work there. I'm sure if OP is American, they aren't swimming in PTO either. I had a baby this year, and all 3 sets of grandparents, my parents aren't together, all have full-time jobs still and are still a solid 10 to 15 years away from retirement. Paying for the tickets won't actually change that much about the situation. OP's daughter just has to accept that this is what it is when living far from family. Story 4. My mom thinks a court will give her my house. I bought a small starter home during the housing market crash, completely by myself. I lived there for the better part of a decade before buying a larger home with my now husband. My parents really wanted to live there because it was small and easy to maintain. They have foreclosured in the past, so no way would they be capable of someone giving them a mortgage. Also, my dad is retired and my mom doesn't work. They wanted to rent from me. For a discounted rent, they paid off the mortgage, let's say $50,000, with an over 6-figure inheritance my parents got. A lease was written explaining that it was a prepayment of rent, and their rent would be only the taxes and insurance, and they would pay $350 a month. Basically only going up when taxes and insurance going up. We signed the lease, with all the other typical stuff in it, and had it notarized, and that's how it's been for a while now. So to be clear, I'm not making a fucking dime on this house. I recently told them the rent would go up by $3, yes, $3 BC of a slight increase in the insurance. My mother lost her shit. Claiming I'm a money-hungry bitch, she was going to rip out everything she did, garden and other cosmetic changes, that I owe her, and I can't evict her BC it's her house. She's not responsible for the insurance. Lease says otherwise. Insurance hasn't been raised in a decade. Look at fucking lumber prices. I'm trying to make her pay my personal homeowner's insurance. A court will show me that and give her my house. We have a notarized lease. They are listed as tenants. I am the only one on the deed. My father demanded the bills, 0 balls this man has, to see if I'm ripping them off. P.S. This house is a commutable distance from fucking Manhattan, so a studio apta around here is like $1,500. This is a house with a large yard for their dog. I can easily get $2K for this house, even before they moved in. I sent them copies of the taxes and insurance showing only their address. P.S. I'm charging them discounted taxes. You get a discount for paying in full 90 days early. I told them to add and divide by 12 and told my mother to talk to a lawyer so they can slap them straight. I guess my father agreed with me. BC now she's divorcing my father. Update. First, I want to thank everyone. I was mainly just venting. BC I was very upset after the exchange and have been dealing with some health issues, which my parents know about. So it's just a range of emotions right now. I keep getting a lot of the same questions. They have lived there for 4 years now. My mom has always been entitled and an alcoholic. Weekends and summers were spent with family. My aunt admitted when I was an adult it was to keep us from being around the alcohol. I mainly did this for my father, so he can get a chance to retire after having heart surgery when he worked a physically demanding job for 36 years. They asked to rent the house and pay it off as a prepayment of mortgage. So the only big bill monthly was their health insurance. I had a few others interested in renting my house. I did not ask them for this. They did not co-sign on the mortgage or help with the down payment. Their name is not on my house deed. There have been rent increases in the past due to the taxes and insurance going up, and there was never an issue before. My husband's dad unfortunately passed away without getting to enjoy his retirement. A big reason why my husband told my dad he needs to retire and enjoy life a little, and his inheritance helped pay the down payment on our new house. My mom has a history of putting shit on me, and $3 is I guess my line in the sand. I started paying $200 a week after I graduated HS until I moved out at 20. I worked about 65 hours a week on top of school to do this. And yes, shockingly they foreclosed when I moved out. I stupidly put her on my phone plan and basically paid her phone for 2 years until the contract ended, because she only paid me for 3 months out of those 2 years. She promised money for my wedding and never delivered. They didn't pay for college. They stopped paying for clothes/school expenses when I was 16. BC I had a job. I know this is all a red flag parade, but I trusted my dad more than her, I guess, and thought I was doing a good thing. I also want to keep this house, BC I love it and want to move back one day. It's just too small for us as a young family. Or allow my child to live there when they go to college. And want to have fun without parents hanging around or racking up dorm costs. Also, she threatens divorce all the time. I doubt she'll actually go through with it. Relevant comment. Kick them out then. Send them the eviction notice and let her try her shit in court. Up. I told my father I would, and my mom is dead set on a judge giving her the house, and top of me being money hungry, and they'll all see it. My husband said to print out rental listings in the area and slam it on the table and tell them to decide, $353 or $2,000. Choice is yours. I also tried to explain the clauses I can use to get her out. She thinks I can never make her leave. I don't know what Kool-Aid she drank. Commenter. I would seriously have her checked for dementia for this. Edit. Going to add because I've gotten so many comments. It could be a number of things. UTI, brain tumor, change in hormone levels. Mom needs to get checked out to see if this is something major. Commenter. Was about to jump in and say this as well. My mom started getting crazy ideas like this, and about people living in the walls when she was still undiagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's. Get that woman to a neurologist quickly. Another comment. So what I'm hearing is that dad is going to be living in the house and mom can fuck all the way off. Right? Up. My mom won't be welcome with her attitude. I hope her sister is willing to take her in, but she gets even nastier when she drinks and no one can tolerate it anymore. Another comment. All of this over $3? Not you, of course. A line needs to be drawn, and if you don't draw it, then they will cross it at every chance. Also, are you serious about the divorce? It's just mind-blowing to me. Up. Who knows? She called, told me she was divorcing him, wanted all her money back, and to never speak to her again. Of course, she has threatened divorce before. IDK where she would live BC she can't afford anywhere, and it ain't with me. Another comment. Never mix family, friends, and money or business. Not always, but often enough, they feel more and more entitled to it over time. Whether that's you supplementing their income by paying their bills or just handing over money regularly, giving them well below market value rent on a property you own, or free/steeply discounted services from whatever it is you do for a living. I hope she tries to find a lawyer to take your house because they're all going to tell her she's batshit crazy. Up. I don't even make that much more than average income for my area, but honestly, with grocery prices and everything, I can't save a dollar. I have a child in daycare, mortgage, car payment, etc. Story 5. I hate my daughter. I know this will make me seem bad and all, but above all, I really just need a place to vent. I can't talk about it with my friends or family, nor do I really want to. I'm 27, and I've had a FWB situation with a guy I went to college with. Let's call him Mark. We were both young and not ready for a relationship. Then I got pregnant. I told Mark about it since I wanted to discuss our options. Abortion, adoption, or even giving him custody if he wanted to. I never wanted kids, so I'd be fine with any compromise. However, Mark didn't take it well. I remember him insisting we could make it work, especially since we were both in our last-year-old college. He wanted to get married and for us to be a family. I refused. He got his family involved. They called and texted me all the time, even showing up at my part-time job. I know I have no one to blame but myself, but I gave up. I had too many things going on at that time, like the loss of my mother, the stress with the rest of the family, and some stuff going on with my best friend that I won't get into. I remember feeling horrible, but I relented and agreed to keep the baby, although I still refused to get married to Mark. Now we have a 5-year-old daughter together. I'm a mess. I never wanted kids, and although I'm trying, I can't feel any motherly love for her. What makes it worse is that she's genuinely a good kid. She doesn't throw much tantrums, she's always kind, and she doesn't expect much. I feel guilty for hating her. I feel bad all the time. I only get to have her on the weekends, and Mark has her every other day, but that doesn't make me feel better. She talks about wanting to see me and her dad together, but I just can't. I screamed at her once when she drew a little picture of me and Mark holding hands. I apologized after, but I still felt so guilty. I don't know what I'm doing. I just needed to write everything down and get it off my chest. I know I'm a bad mother, I know it, but I don't know how to be better. I don't even know if I want to be better. I just want to give up my parental rights, but even the thought makes me feel even worse. I'm stuck in a hell of my own making. I know I should have fought harder and probably just abort her. Damn me for being weak, I guess. Relevant comment. She's trying to be extra good, so you can like her. I used to do that with my mom all the time until one day I made it up in my head that I was done with it. Commenter. Yay, that part of her story made me so sad for her daughter. That poor kid knows her mom doesn't want her and is doing everything she can to appease her. OP doesn't realize, but she already made a little codependent people-pleaser. She better leave soon while she has time to forget the time before. Commenter. She'll definitely remember and be really deeply affected by it, unfortunately, but it may be better in the long run for her. She should really discuss it with the ex and give him time to come up with a plan to make it easier on the kid. Another comment. Giving up might make you feel worse, but when your daughter is old enough to realize that her mother doesn't want her, it'll affect the rest of her life. This is your screw-up, not hers. Just bail now and live with it. The alternative is far worse. Commenter. Believe me, she already knows her mom doesn't want her. I speak from experience. My mother didn't want or like me from the get-go, and no matter how much she pretended to be a loving mother, she could never hide it. I felt it from a very young age, way before I could put it into words. She needs to give up her rights ASAP before even more damage is done. Another comment. If he's a good father and loves her, then maybe you should give up your rights and go live your life. Your emotions are getting through, and she'll never understand why you don't like her. It might be better to let her go. She deserves love 24/7, not just on weekdays. And if you are screaming at her, you aren't hiding your dislike of her being around. Commenter. And consider that children may never be for you and tie your tubes. Best of luck. Another comment. TBI, you hate yourself and the decisions you've made that led you to this point. Get therapy. You need to come to terms with those things before you can come to terms with your feelings about your child. Commenter. This plus OP, you absolutely need to have your daughter stay with her dad all of the time and let them know you have to work on your mental health. You can't give her what she needs. Another comment. You know why she is a good kid? It's because she is already a withdrawn people pleaser. Just let her father have her full time and stop ruining her life. I hope he will get married, so she does have a mother figure. Just leave that poor soul alone. Another comment. She feels the hate. Can't be sure, but she may be a good kid because she feels she can't safely throw a tantrum. Speaking from my own and loved ones' experiences. If you don't see another way to deal with it, it may be less damaging for everybody involved, including yourself, if you choose to remove yourself from her life. You're not a bad person. Everyone screws up. You still have time to make choices. Story 6. Ita for not agreeing to sleep in a bra. I, 22F, recently went on a small family trip to celebrate my dad's early retirement. A family friend let us borrow their lake house, but sleeping arrangements meant that I had to share a room with my sister, 24F, and her husband, 30M, in a room with 2 beds. They're newlyweds who married quickly, so this is his first time going on a trip with us. I really didn't think it was going to be an issue because, with the whole lake available to us, we wouldn't be spending much time in the rooms. The first night, there was no problem. The second night, my sister pulled me aside right before I went to go get ready for bed and asked me to change what I was sleeping in because her husband was uncomfortable. For context, this might be TMI and I am sorry, I am not a flat-chested woman. It is quite literally the most annoying thing about my life, and I am not sorry that I do not sleep in a bra. That being said, it wasn't like I was sleeping in lingerie. It was just a big t-shirt. But because of how I'm built, you could still tell I was braless. I've never thought it was a big deal, but her husband is rather conservative, in like all senses of the word. I politely told my sister no, because the only things I brought were A, swimsuits, which would be even worse, B, a tight compression sports bra for beach volleyball, which I don't think is even medically advisable to sleep in, and C, a sweatshirt, which I guess would disguise it more, but it was hot and I didn't want to wear it. She pressed me again and I said no again, pointing out that her husband slept shirtless. I don't actually care, but it seemed hypocritical to me, so I said that if I am asked to find a way to cover up more, despite wearing a shirt, he should too. She got mad at me and said I was being ridiculous and staring at her husband. God no, I would never, and kept raising a stink and trying to involve the rest of my family, saying it was a simple request and I must be trying to tempt her husband. I oddly fired back that this wouldn't be a problem if her husband wasn't staring at my chest, which prompted my parents to have me sleep in the couch on the living room the rest of the trip. I also made it a point for the rest of the trip to loudly call her husband out if he was looking too long at my chest in my swimsuit, which happened a couple times before he learned his lesson. I didn't think I overreacted. I might have gotten a bit heated, but it was in line with my sister. But my family has kind of blamed me for ruining my dad's celebration by not letting it go, and I can't help but feel guilty. Ita? Itia? If you are going to make a comment sexualizing me, don't. It's weird and it's not funny. Relevant comment. NTA. You were wearing a fucking shirt. You were decent. Sister's husband is being a baby. Commenter. Exactly. Grow the fuck up, women have breasts, whoop-de-doo. Commenter. He was the one without a shirt too. Another comment. Who the hell sleeps in a bra? That's unreasonable. NTA. OP. Thank you. My sister doesn't either, but she's less blessed, cursed, and also his wife, so I guess he's fine with that. Commenter. The only time I've slept in a bra was when I was nursing my babies. They were sleeping bras that were also designed to make popping a titty out easier. I lined them with those nursing pads to help keep my PJ tops dry from when the boobs leaked. Super loose fitting, no underwire, no claps or anything, so you put them on like a tank top, and they were made out of cotton. Very comfy. Another comment. 24-year-old married to a 30-year-old that can't stop staring at her 22-year-old sister's chest. They're newlyweds who married quickly. You don't say. NTA. Commenter. Yeah, but is it really the husband being conservative, or is sis just worried about husband's wandering eye? Which apparently he had to be called out for staring more than once. Another comment. NTA. I can't even understand his perspective on this one. OP. Honestly, I can't either. I really don't care if I upset him, but if I really did make such a deal out of it that it put a damper on the festivities, that's what I care about. I am not his biggest fan. Commenter. Could it be it's your sister who is insecure and is just using her husband as an excuse? Entirely possible. But I've had a large chest for years now, and she hasn't said something like this before. Another comment. Why, in God's name, would your sister and BL agree to share a room with you when they know full well that they are prissy perverts who stare at their family's chests? If they are this hung up and weird, they should know they need privacy. Did they not realize ahead of time that you had tits? Also, if he's conservative, read him that Bible verse about how it's his responsibility to pluck out his own eyes if he's having trouble controlling himself. Story 7. Ada for refusing to give my roommate a tampon? My roommate, 23 and I, 22F, have been living together for about a year now. I have been renting on my own since I was 17, and this is her first apartment. Her lack of experience shows. I've had to remind her to pay me for utilities and rent a few times, and she is often a couple days late. She also doesn't really pick up after herself and leaves dishes in the sink for over a week sometimes. I've had to ask her to contribute to buying necessities of daily living, such as toilet paper, dish soap, paper towels, laundry detergent, etc., because she always just waits for me to buy them. A few months ago, I started my period, and when I went to the bathroom to take care of it, I saw she had used all of my tampons and didn't ever buy more to replace them. Needless to say, I was very annoyed. She could have at least texted me to give me a heads up or something. I asked her why she used mine and didn't buy her own. She told me she was broke, and I didn't really know how to argue with that, so I just asked her to at least tell me next time. And then it happened again. A couple weeks ago, I started my period, and when I went to the bathroom, my box of tampons was completely empty. Now I was livid. When I purchased more, I started keeping them in my room and hiding a few in a clever spot in the bathroom so she wouldn't find them. Yesterday, she knocked on my bedroom door and asked if I had a tampon from the other side. I told her I bought a box a little while ago, the one she emptied, and there should still be some left because I haven't used them. She said she would check, but I didn't hear from her again that night after she went to the bathroom. I did have tampons. They were in my room. Now I feel like an asshole, like I've betrayed the sisterhood. I could have given her at least one and told her to purchase more herself. But I was admittedly still bitter because of how she is as a roommate in general. Ida, relevant comment. NTA. The sisterhood is a thing of moderation and give and take. You mostly provide for your own tampon pad needs and only ask others when something unexpected catches you out, and you return the favor if needed. You don't use 2 whole boxes of your roommate's tampons without replacing them and expect them to just keep supplying you. On the other hand, using up all of someone else's tampons without even telling them so they don't know until they go to use one? That's a betrayal of the sisterhood. Commenter. Keep stuff in your room and get a lock for the door. Do not renew the lease with her. She doesn't care about you at all and is just using you. Commenter. I don't think she's using you so much as she is just really immature. Adulting well takes time and lessons. Don't re-up, but tell her why without anger or discussion. Either she will get a clue or she won't. Commenter. Buying menstrual products and planning ahead to have them when needed is not adulting. Most girls have learned to do it by age 13 to 14. Another comment. NTA? Your response was perfect. You did give her a tampon. She took 2 whole boxes of tampons. Your roommate clearly doesn't care about the sisterhood. The sisterhood does not condone letting the lazy roommate continually take advantage of the responsible roommate. BC girl power. Commenter. Sounds like she already gave the roommate like 40 tampons, so she would be fine to say no for the next decade or so. By which point, hopefully, They no longer have to live with roommates, and the tampon thief will have grown up. Another comment. TBI, I feel like you're doing her more of a favor, letting her learn the lesson. She's not always going to have someone to steal off of. She needs to learn to keep stock of these essentials. I also really appreciate that you didn't straight up tell her no. You said there should still be some in the box you had bought. It puts her in the position to realize it's her own fault for there not being any, without conflict. NTA for sure. Another comment. NTA? She is thoughtless and a mooch. To use all your tampons and not even tell you, and worse, not replace them, is a cardinal sin. I would start the process of getting her out of there, or better yet, finding a new place. The sisterhood pact is voided when someone steals all your tampons. Another comment. NTA, she opted out of the agreement of menstruating folks when she left you high and dry more than once, when all you'd asked was for her to let you know when she'd used up your supply. Another comment. My period was always super heavy, so if I ever needed a tampon and didn't have one, I would have been in really bad shape. It's the roommate's fault for not planning and having any when she needs them and sponging off OP. OP is definitely NTA, but the roommate sure is. Story 8. Neighbor has Airbnb, acts like a jerk and needs favors. I'm in an area of Florida that gets a lot of tourists. However, we live in a family neighborhood. 90% of the people here are full-time residents, hardly any snowbirds, 2 schools right in the neighborhood, etc. Normal suburbs, with the Gulf Coast 10 minutes away. We moved into this house in 2022. We are pretty quiet people. We know the neighbors around us and have friendly chats in the yard, but that's about it. We like to just do our thing. The house next door to us was bought by a couple from Maryland in Feb of 2023. We were happy to see the old neighbors leave, as they were an old boomer couple that had nothing better to do than scream at each other. Thanks a whole post for boomers being fools. So new people are doing stuff at the house, and I'm in my side yard, and I introduced myself to the wife. Wife seems super chatty and basically told me her life story. She goes on to tell me they really can't afford this house, purchased for just over $500K, but they are going to do short-term renting for the next 5 years, so the mortgage and such will be covered. Now, we lived in an area that allowed STR, and we specifically moved to a home that had no HOA or STR. We hated living next door to a house that was always a party house, and we never knew who the hell would be there. So I tell the wife, we aren't allowed to do STR here. She laughs and says, my realtor told me we can, so I'm pretty sure we can. I shrug and wish her good luck and go back to my garden. 3 days later, she is knocking on my door asking for my phone number in case she needs to get a hold of me. Okay. Then she tells me she is allowed to do 30 days or more rentals, and that is what she will be doing. I agree, because I called the city myself as well, and wish her luck. Over the next few months, I communicate with her through text. I was asked to meet at HVAC guy, the sprinkler guy, water flowers, check to see if the last renters had left, and other random shit. My husband is getting annoyed with her and said she needs to hire a local management company. I'm seeing his point. I go on a trip to visit family, and my husband stayed behind. He calls me on day 2 and tells me the new renters are fucking crazy loud. Parties till 12 to 1 a.m., they are throwing pool toys over the fence, leaving beer cans in the grassy area between our driveways, and just being generally rude and obnoxious. My husband, being the quiet dude he is, just out headphones on and minded his own business. I came home on day 6 around midnight. I was exhausted and ready to see my hubs and kiss my dogs and go to bed. But it's a Tuesday, and renters next door are super loud in the pool. Music, screeching while diving, yelling and laughing. If it was 12 noon, no problem. It's midnight on a Tuesday. I am tired and pissed. I go to the front door and knock for 5 minutes. I'm stupid. Everyone is in the backyard partying. I finally yell over the fence, "Eta," for firing my sister after she exposed our family's darkest secrets at work. Hi everyone. I, 28F, am the founder and CEO of a small tech company that I've poured my heart into over the past 5 years. 6 months ago, my younger sister, 24F, lost her job due to downsizing. Despite our rocky relationship, we're polar opposites. I decided to hire her. I'm introverted and value privacy. She's extroverted and often speaks without thinking. Initially, things went smoothly. She brought enthusiasm to the team, and I was hopeful this could strengthen our sisterly bond. However, I began noticing colleagues giving me odd looks and whispering when I wasn't around. During a team lunch, one employee casually mentioned a deeply personal family incident, joking about it as if it were common knowledge. I was stunned. I pulled my sister aside and asked if she'd been sharing personal family stories. She admitted she had, saying it helped her connect with others and that it was no big deal. I stressed that our family's history is private and that discussing it at work was unprofessional. She brushed me off, calling me overly sensitive. A couple of weeks later, I discovered she'd told several employees about our parents' tumultuous divorce, and even shared that our mother had struggled with substance abuse, a painful chapter we've worked hard to move past. This wasn't just embarrassing. It felt like a profound betrayal. I confronted her again, but she accused me of trying to control her and said I was letting my CEO status go to my head. Realizing that this was jeopardizing not only my reputation, but also the company's culture, I made the difficult decision to terminate her employment for breaching confidentiality and unprofessional conduct. She was furious, accusing me of choosing work over family and vowing to never forgive me. Our parents are now involved and believe I overreacted. They think I should have been more understanding and given her another chance. This whole situation has left me questioning myself. I feel guilty for firing her, but also feel that I had to protect my company and personal boundaries. So, Reddit, Ita for firing my sister after she exposed our family's darkest secrets at work. First update, I reached out to a friend who still works at the company where my sister was previously employed. He confirmed that she was indeed fired, but not just because of the downsizing she mentioned. According to him, she had a knack for orchestrating gossip and creating conflicts among coworkers. She would spread rumors and stir up drama, which led to a toxic work environment and decreased team morale. Her behavior was disruptive enough that the company decided to let her go to preserve the integrity and productivity of the workplace. Hearing this from someone who was there really reinforces my decision to terminate her employment at my company. It seems her pattern of behavior has consistently caused problems wherever she goes, and I had to prioritize the well-being of my team. Thank you all for your continued support and understanding as I navigate this difficult situation. Second update, spoke to my parents about her actions. Hi everyone, I wanted to share an update on the situation with my sister. I recently had a detailed conversation with my parents about the rumors she was spreading at work, especially regarding her substance abuse and our parents' divorce. I explained how her behavior was disrupting the workplace and shared the specific complaints from employees who felt uncomfortable. Additionally, I informed them about what a friend who still works at her previous company told me, that she was fired for orchestrating gossip and creating conflict among coworkers. My parents are now very angry with her for sharing our family's private matters and for causing turmoil in my company. They also apologized to me for not recognizing the severity of her actions sooner and for any additional stress this has caused our family. Having their support has been a huge relief and reinforces that I made the right decision to prioritize my business and team. Thank you all for your continued support and understanding during this difficult time. Relevant comment. NTA, you didn't choose work over family at all. She chose to divulge personal/private information that could damage your reputation and your company's reputation. You chose to get rid of a problematic employee. Period. And you did give her warning. Commenter. Exactly this. I got my sister a job at my place of employment. I'm a nurse. I recommended her for a unit secretary job. All her prior experience was working at McDonald's, and they hired her. She did the exact same thing and destroyed the reputation I worked a decade to build. I now haven't spoken to her in a decade, and it was the best decision I ever made to cut her off. She was an absolute boundary stomper. Good job, an NTA. Commenter. I've gone out on a limb for people and had them burn me like that. I basically no longer do this unless I very strongly feel someone is a good hire because you're basically attaching your reputation to theirs. Another comment. NTA. Your sister crossed serious boundaries, and work isn't the place to air personal family drama. You gave her chances, but she didn't respect your privacy or professionalism. You had to protect your company. OP. Thank you for your perspective. It's been a really tough decision, and I appreciate your understanding. I do feel guilty about how things ended, but I felt I had to protect both my company's integrity and my personal boundaries. It's reassuring to know that others see where I'm coming from. Another comment, NTA. You can't use your office for free therapy and expose the boss's family secrets and poison the culture of the office and expect to keep your job no matter who you're related to. OP. Thank you for your perspective. I hadn't thought of it that way, but you're right. It's not fair to the team or the company to have personal matters aired out like that. I tried to handle it privately, but she didn't seem to understand the professional boundaries.